How do I delete all files smaller than a certain size in all subfolders? I have a folder with many subfolders containing small TIFF files, less than 160 kilobits, which have been merged together in bigger PDF files, together with some big multi-page TIFF files. I want to delete all small TIFF files without deleting the bigger files, TIFF or PDF, and retaining the directory structure. How do I go about it on Linux using the command line?
This will search for files with file names matching the glob.tiff and size smaller than 160 kilobytes recursively in the current directory and all subdirectories, and then delete them. Run the command without delete first. It will just list the files instead of deleting. This way you can verify the correct files are to be deleted. Explanation. A typical find command looks like this. We start with all files, and all directories, in dir name. Then the tests filter the files, and directories, based on some criteria. The tests work in series. So the second test gets the result from the first test. The action then does things with the final result. If no explicit action is given, then it is default print the file name including path to file. In our case, we start in current directory, the filter out directories, type F, filter by name, filter by size, and ultimately delete those files. Now explanation for each part. For brevity I will only say files from now on instead of files and directories. This is the action. As the name says, it instructs find to delete the files found. A directory will only be deleted if it is empty. In our case it does not matter because we filtered out directories. Other common actions are print, to print based on custom format, or exec, to execute a command on the found file. There is also ls, which will print the files found in a format similar to the command ls. This test filters the files based on size. This is the relevant part for this question. Note the before 160K. Just 160K means exactly 160 kilobytes. 160K means smaller than 160 kilobytes. Plus 160K means larger than 160 kilobytes. If you want smaller and equal to 160K, then do 161K. If you want to filter size in bytes, as in 160 bytes instead of 160 kilobytes, then you have to write it like this, 160C. If you just write 160, it will be interpreted as 160 times 512 bytes. This is a strange requirement by POSIX. Read here for more details, this URL. This test filters the files based on file name. The pattern is a glob. It works like you would expect in a typical command, like for example, rm.tiff. Be careful to put the glob in quotes, .tiff. Otherwise the shell will expand the glob before find gets the arguments and it will execute a completely different command. See here for more information about quoting the glob, this URL. There are several tests that filter against the name of a file. Name matches against the file name regardless of the path to the file. Path matches against the file name and the path to the file. And regex, which uses regular expression instead of glob to match against file name including path. For more info on glob and regex, read this article, this URL, or search for difference glob regex. This test filters based on type. In this case we request it to only filter for files. If you leave this test out you get both files and directories. Typically, for all but the simplest find commands, you will want to filter only files or only directories. To filter only directories use type D. The dot stands for the current directory. You can also search another directory in the current directory, or an absolute path somewhere on the system. On same versions of find, new find, you can leave out the dot and it will search in the current directory by default. Practically all Linuxes use the new version of find. Some overpriced non-free systems, Mac OS X, use outdated and/or inferior versions of find just to avoid the GPL, the perpetually free license of GNU and Linux. See here for more info on Apple avoiding GPL, this URL. Bonus. If you want to exclude subfolders, or in other words, not recursively, then do it like this. This will tell find to not look deeper than one level. In effect, it will not go down subdirectories.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.